folks, it's Jeff here. Just a quick reminder, if you're loving Disney Coast to Coast, there are a couple of easy ways that you can support the show. We'd love it if you could rate and review us on iTunes, or wherever you listen to the show. This is a simple way to help other Disney fans find us. Also, go ahead and share your favorite episodes on social media and be sure to tag us. You can find all of our social media information at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. And finally, I just want to say thank you to all of you who listen every week. Your support is very appreciated, and we love that you're enjoying our Disney geekiness. Now on with the show.
Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli, and today on the show I have my good friend Rick West from Theme Park Adventure here with me. Welcome back, Rick.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here.
You were actually on the season premiere of Disney Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
So it's been a little while at this point, but you went on an excursion.
I did.
Simply, I couldn't resist having you back on to talk about.
I appreciate that.
Now, we haven't really talked about it all that much.
We haven't.
Because I know that you were going to come on here, and I like very organic conversations. So we're going to go on a little trip report to Shanghai Disneyland, so let's get to that right now.
Travel along and stamp those passports in today's Disney Trip Report.
Okay, Rick, so before we jump into it, just so the folks know, what Disney parks have you been to?
I've been to, obviously, Disneyland here in California, Walt Disney World, and Shanghai.
All right, so you haven't done Paris or anything?
No, in the last month, I've gone to China twice on business, and it's literally been my first time out of the United States ever.
So excited.
Dude, crazy.
And you traveled in style.
Dude, well, yeah.
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 Can you talk about what you're working on at all, or no?
So I've been working with a company called Idea Attack. They're in Pasadena, and they tapped me to creative direct and show write a series of attractions for a client called Evergrande. Evergrande is a large real estate developer in East Asia, and they have set aside a large fund that they want to do theme parks. And they are fairy tale-based theme parks across mainland China. And they've got the money, and they've got the drive and desire to do it. So I've been tapped, and so away I go, back and forth to mainland China.
So now they have the talent. Boom.
Oh, thank you very much.
There we go. Excellent. Well, I want to hear, I haven't been to Shanghai myself, so I want to hear all about your experience, so that we can go all over the place here. I have no set order, but
sure.
I guess we should start with your first impression of it.
Okay, so it was really strange. So I've been going back and forth.
Actually, let me stop you for a second.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
1 day.
1 day, like a full day in Shanghai?
Full day,
Okay.
open to close.
Okay, cool.
Yep, open to close. But it was short because they actually have an off season, which surprises the hell out of everybody because everybody's like, you're going to wait 3 hours for Pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates was a walk-on.
Wow.
So, yeah, we'll get to that. But, I mean, so, no, it was crazy because we've been going back and forth to Beijing for meetings. And so Shanghai is about 820 miles south.
Okay.
So I took it upon myself to hop on an airplane and go all by my lonesome, only my second time in China, to Shanghai. And so it was crazy and a little overwhelming.
Okay.
Because there's not a whole lot in the way of English.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're in China, when you travel, I would assume that people, when they decide they're going to travel, it's like baby steps, right? You go to Canada, or you go to London, or you go to Mexico, Cabo, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, we're going all the way 14 hours to China or whatever.
Listen, opportunity is not a lengthy visitor, so
I'm telling you. So it was a little daunting, but I thought I would be remiss. There's never another trip guaranteed, and I was already 800 miles away from Shanghai, so just, you know what? Be a modern-day Indiana Jones and just do it. Do it, right? So I hopped a plane, got in a cab, which I was praying was a cab, Do
they have Lyft? Like, does the Lyft app work over there?
So, no, they have something called BB or DD, I think it is.
Okay.
And no, but I'm not going to put my credit card and all that into it. No, I'm not doing that. But there's cabs everywhere. There's cabs everywhere. That in itself is an attraction because it's like J. Thaddeus Toad is your cabbie of every car that you get into in China. But I got in, and it's I I got in the airport and I got a cab and I stayed in Shanghai proper.
Okay.
Because I had a whole afternoon and night I wanted to see like Shanghai. So I did that and then I got up bright and early the next morning, got another cab out to Shanghai Disneyland.
How far was that from?
So it's about a 35, 40-minute drive.
Okay, so it's like from here to Disneyland.
Yeah, and it's like Paris, right? It's Disneyland Paris, but it's still about 35 miles outside of Paris. So same thing.
Okay.
They bought a ton of land, much bigger apparently than what people realize that they've bought out there, which I'm just learning. So yeah, I went in the cab, and it's really interesting because when you... Let me back up again really quick.
Sure.
I got the impression, and I've talked to other people that have been, not a whole lot of locals that live in Shanghai seem to know what Shanghai Disney is.
Really?
Yeah.
But it is a locals park, right?
I guess, sure. I mean, people are obviously coming because it's packed. But, you know, like even the concierge at my hotel, and I stayed at a really nice luxury hotel in Shanghai, I had to get like a lobby card of Shanghai Disneyland and point to it before they understood that, dude wants to go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd say, oh, okay.
Yeah, they'd be like on the top of the list these days.
I'm not the only middle-aged white dude that stayed there that's asked to go to Disneyland, I'm sure, right?
Maybe. I don't know. It's only been a year.
That's true. So, you know, you get in the cab. What happens is then they do the thing on their phone where they get a cab and you hope it's not like their shady brother, you know?
You're like, just...
Oh my God, just get me there, right?
Hold on to that pamphlet for a while so you can just point. Here,
and you're
please.
just praying the entire time that you're on your way to Shanghai Disneyland.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because when you get there, like here in the States, when you arrive at Walt Disney World, and I've also been told that when you arrive at other parks, you know, there's the big archway that says Walt Disney World, or in I guess there's one for Hong Kong. It says Hong Kong Disneyland, you know, whatever. There's nothing.
Really?
When you arrive at Shanghai, you get off the freeway, you drive for a few minutes, and the only inkling that you have is suddenly everything is really nicely landscaped and manicured.
Okay.
And it's like that, like when you get off the freeway in Florida, right? When you get off the 4 and you're like, this feels vaguely familiar because it's all manicured and perfect, you know? So it was that same exact feeling.
And the street signs are purple, of course.
There were no street signs. No. None. I was like, dude, are you taking me like to the employees entrance? I mean, what are you doing? So where he dropped me off was, and I got there early. I got there like an hour and a half before the park opened. He dropped me off in this like, it seemed like a really remote location, but it's one of the it's where the taxis go.
Can you see the castle from there?
So no. That's
surprising.
Right, so I get out of the car because they're like buildings and things, and I was just like, are we really in the right place? I'm like, dude, don't leave yet. You know? And I get out of the car and there's like no signage, nothing. I'm like, oh my God. But then I noticed over the top of a structure, I could see the very top golden spires of the castle. And then I looked further to the left and I could see the show building for Tron. And I was like, all right, I'm in the right place. Off you go. Thank you for the ride. I can find my way from here.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. And so I just started walking toward, there's no wayfinding. So I started walking toward what I figured would be the front of the park.
Yeah.
Based on where the castle was. And so it wasn't for a good, I don't know, maybe 50 yards that I saw one little tiny sign that said Disney Shanghai, and it was a little sign pointing in the bushes.
And where you were dropped off was the official drop-off.
Yes.
Site. That's very weird.
Dude, it's so weird.
That's bizarre.
So what was really cool, though, was right as I got to that point where I saw that sign, and it's no joke, it's ridiculous. I saw the sign. Right as I saw the sign, I entered like the sound zone or whatever because the walkway got bigger. And the Baroque Hoedown came on. And I got super emotional. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm in such a strange place, so far from home, but something so near and dear to my heart and familiar with me came on. Oh my God, I was like instant waterworks. I got really excited. I was like, oh my God, this is really happening.
That's funny. For those of you who don't know, the Baroque Hoedown is the theme song to the Main Street Electrical Parade. So
yeah. So right when I got back, I was texting Don Dorsey and I was like, you were there with me, but you weren't. And I told him the thing, and he thought that was really cool.
That's fun.
So I mean, God. So I went to the front of the park, and
I want to talk about these security lines.
So yeah, dude, because that's it. I mean, you pass by their downtown Disney, which is called Disneytown, and then you
was it nice? Disney?
It's small. It's really small.
Is it like a downtown Disney feel?
It's more like a Disney Springs feel.
Okay, but it's much smaller.
But very small.
Okay.
Very, very small. And then you pass by, of course, the World of Disney, which looks like it got plunked out of, Florida or ours and just dropped right down in the walkway there.
Can we take a second to talk about World of Disney? Just because.
Sure.
Have you been to the World of Disney at Downtown Disney lately?
Oh, a lot of it's closed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so World of Disney is under construction right now. This is a store I have been in many, 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 many times. And I am blown away by the fact that during construction, they have put up such a permanent temporary wall.
I have not seen that.
I couldn't even... I was like, wait a sec, where is the construction happening? Like, they literally... I got so disoriented in there because it just looks like a store. Like... You would have, if you didn't know, you would have no idea that there was construction going on inside World of Disney at Downtown Disney right now, and I would assume Disney Springs as well. Sorry, total tangent, but I was just so impressed by
I bet you it's also for sound also.
Probably, yeah.
Right? It's probably to blockade the sound as well.
It's like you don't see, it's not like you see temporary seams.
Sure.
I kind of expected like hanging plastic, to be honest.
No, because it would be really loud. I'm sure they're doing construction and moving things around.
I assumed they would just do work overnight, but maybe, yeah, you're probably right. I just couldn't believe it. Yeah. They've done a fantastic job. So in any case, you're at Shanghai Disney. Yeah. You're walking by.
So yeah, and then it was really funny. So they have in front of their park a big, it's not big, but it's nice. It's a decent size Steamboat Willie fountain.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's nice.
Which I was like, oh, this is really cool, and I'm taking pictures. And then it's dawning. My mind is, of course, whirring at 1,000,000 miles a second, trying to take everything in.
Cheap tickets, by the way, right? Compared to here? This is like 57 a
free ticket for me.
Oh, okay. So I think it's fairly inexpensive.
Thanks, Brent. So a friend of mine he works for the company, gave me tickets. But yeah, I think it's like 75 or 80 US. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so inexpensive.
So yeah, absolutely.
Compared to us.
So as I'm taking pictures of this really cool Steamboat Willie fountain, I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of an odd character choice, I think. Because I don't know how much mainland China is familiar with the old Disney shorts like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I could see maybe having the Fab Four up there, whatever, or a giant Mickey Mouse type thing. But to me, the Steamboat Willie, it just kind of struck me as being kind of in the weeds.
Okay.
Just, it was one of those weird things. And there were a lot of weird things like that, that it's not a negative connotation, but it struck me as kind of odd.
What is the slogan for Shanghai Disneyland? Distinctly Disney... No. Oh, goodness. What is that slogan?
I have no idea because it's not on anything anymore.
So part of the opening day speech that Bob Iger gave, and I know like the slogan for at least the Imagineers and the people creating this was authentically Disney and distinctly Chinese. So I guess the Steamboat Willie is authentically Disney, but I know that I think they learned their lesson.
It's authentically, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, right. But
and you're going to learn it, and you're going to like it.
Listen, they learned their lesson with Euro Disneyland, right? Like, they opened that park, and it wasn't French enough.
Sure.
And that caused a lot of problems. So I know that the distinctly Chinese was a really big part of what they were doing there and why they don't have Main Street USA and all that stuff. So it's interesting that the first thing you see is authentically Disney.
Yeah. There are Chinese flourishes and touches to everything in the park. But that slogan, as far as I can remember, wasn't anywhere on nothing.
Okay.
So maybe that just lives online and in the in the mindset of the design team.
My guess is it's probably in a opening day plaque, or what do they call those? The tribute plaque.
So I actually took a picture of that opening day plaque.
Oh, okay, and it doesn't say that.
And, well, I don't know. I didn't read. I didn't read it. I just took a picture of it because I knew I would read it later.
It's an Instagram post for later.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's funny.
So. Yeah, it's so weird. But before we get into the park itself, you had mentioned the security lines.
Yeah.
So everybody told me, even people that I had talked to that were in Beijing that had been to Shanghai said, "Oh, you need to be there at least an hour before, because the amount of people just to get through security is nightmare status.
So I guess that means the park's really successful. But you're saying the locals don't know about it.
It was
so
really
it's very
weird. Yeah, it's strange. Maybe the working class can't afford it in mainland China. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
But somebody's coming.
Yeah.
So I got there, and it was, like I said, it was about an hour before the park opened. And beyond the Mickey fountain was like one of the biggest barricade switchbacks I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you showed me a picture, and
God.
they're ugly barricades.
They're just plain straight up iron barricades.
Yeah, which is a little surprising for Disney. I would expect something a little prettier, or at least covered up with Shanghai Disney signs on or something. Ugly security line
pretty
barricades.
Crazy.
Yeah,
and it was just a mass of people. Now, from what I understand, before they had those. Nightmare, because it was just like a big pushing, shoving. Let's just get into this right now, because that is part of the culture. There's pushing, shoving. There's no personal space. You don't have your American little personal bubble when you're there. They're not being rude. That's just part of their culture.
Yeah, that's
part of their culture, and they're not trying to be rude. They'll be stepping in front of you or pushing you out of the way and looking at you and smiling at the same time. They don't realize that we don't like that.
So they're like cool with people cutting them in line.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, sure, go ahead.
Yes. It's the weirdest thing, but you have to get yourself in that mindset.
Yeah.
It was really funny because people know that I'm not like a people person.
No, you hate crowds.
You hate people or crowds. Yeah. So it was like me walking into like the ninth circle of hell. And everybody's like, dude, don't cause a national incident. I had so many people texting me going, don't kill anybody at Disney. But you know what? The 2 trips that I've been to China now, I have not experienced that really at all, except for in that security line. And even then, it wasn't that bad. Once it got to the point where you literally could not go further anymore, then they get it. Oh, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But if there's 6 inches of room, yes, there are people pushing in front of me.
I've
security
seen...
line. And you know what? It was just deep breath. I was busy texting people on my phone. I was just like, I'm not letting this bother me. I'm not letting this bother me. And it didn't.
Yeah.
If you go in knowing that that's just the culture and it's going to happen, that's it. What I did notice, I was the only white guy.
Yeah.
I was the only Caucasian for miles around. Yeah. And you know what? Everybody was like looking and whispering because I'm there by myself.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other ones.
Yeah.
And it was... not uncomfortable, but you are keenly aware that you are definitely not on your home turf.
Interesting.
Did
you run across any other Americans or Canadians or anything?
It was really funny. I've joked about this before. There were maybe 5 white-skinned folk that I saw. And I don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
But there were like, and you keep seeing like the same white people in the park through the whole day, and you nod like, good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. You know,
see you at the fireworks.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You're going to stick together, right? Good to see you. You know, represent. But so, you are very keenly aware that you're in China.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, but so anyway, the switchback. So security opens, and actually the line moved very quickly once the gate opened. And what they do have there to avoid the inevitable stampede is they have security standing at the head of the switchback telling people one at a time which security line to go to.
Okay.
And it's very orderly. The cast members, even security, they were very friendly. They're not outwardly like, hey,
have a magical day.
We're glad you're here at Shanghai, but they're not. Chinese people are very stoic. I mean, they're not an outward culture like that, really. I mean, I imagine it's kind of the same as walking through Manhattan, right? I mean, no one's going to say, hey, how you doing today? You know, it's just not happening. So once I got through the gate, then to get through the turnstile, I was like, oh, I'm breezing now. It was like another 45 minutes.
What?
Dude, I don't know what they were doing at the turnstile, but I'm like, oh my God, can I just get into the park, please? So I was there an hour before the park opened, and it took me until the park opened at 9 o'clock. It took me till about 10 o'clock to actually get into the park. And I was there like at 7:30.
Thank God you didn't have long waits for rides, because that's miserable.
Yeah. So anyway, that was it. I went through the gate, and my adventure began.
Okay, well, I definitely want to talk to you about Mickey Avenue, because this is their version of Main Street USA. From what I'd seen, it looks kind of like a Main Street USA meets Toontown. Is that accurate representation?
Completely accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. So they don't have a train either.
Oh,
so there's no train station. There's this weird again, there's a weird word. There's this weird, it's weird to me because I've grown up with Disneyland my entire life. Pseudo train station-ish type structure that's up on a berm. But it's kind of off to the left, as is the Mickey flower bed. So you kind of like go through the gate and you walk to the left. See, now you're saying weird. So you go kind of to the left, and that's where the flower bed was. Now, this is funny.
So that's kind of just a photo spot, really?
Yes, and that's all that is, yeah. And people use it.
Yeah.
And and they have a cast member there and everything, just like our parks here. But, so this was really funny. There was a family, I think probably they sound like they were either, I just barely heard them, maybe Australian or UK type, they were there. And the cast member couldn't understand that I wasn't with them because we were all white.
Yeah.
And they kept trying to get the other people in the picture. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm on my own. Solo, just me. And so finally, the poor guy just turned the camera, vertical and took a picture that way. It's really funny. But I'm like, no, dude, we honest to God, we don't know each other. We're not here together. And again, that just kind of reinforced, oh my God, you're so not at home, you know? But again, the cast member, kind of, not laughed about it, but you could tell once he understood what he was like, oh, sorry, type of thing. But and that was it. So then you walk under the non-train tunnel. You walk through the non-train tunnel, and you end up in what would be our town square. And they don't call it town square there.
Do they have a flagpole?
They don't, which is really weird.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that was another weird thing that just like caught me.
Yeah.
Like the Mickey Steamboat Willie thing. It was just like, oh, there's no flagpole.
You know what really...
It's so strange to me.
You know what I find really jarring? Slightly off topic here, but whenever I see pictures of this, it weirds me out to see the partner statue in the Walt Disney Studios park in Paris.
Yeah.
That's so weird to me.
Because it's not... Yeah.
I mean, the partner statue is in front of the castle. You'd expect it at Disneyland Paris, but to put it in the Walt Disney Studios park, I find so strange.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, but what you do have in their town square-ish area is a fantastic view straight down the street at the Enchanted Storybook Castle.
Yeah.
And that's the first time you really get your look at it. And it's just, it's a wow moment because it is so freaking big. And we'll talk about that in a second, but you wanted to talk about Mickey Avenue.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Toontown and Main Street had a love child.
Do you like it?
I blew through it so fast.
Okay.
It aesthetically, it looked fine.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's got Carthay Circle on the end of it. I was like...
Really? Oh, I didn't realize
I want to go in, but there's no lounge, so I'm not doing that. And so it was just kind of weird. So all of Shanghai, the takeaway is Shanghai Disneyland is like a fever dream where everything is familiar but not.
Yeah.
It's a total fever dream when you're there. And it's just every step is surreal. Every corner that you turn is surreal,
I mean, I get that slightly if even just going to Walt Disney World. If you're a Disneylander going to Walt Disney World and vice versa.
Imagine that feeling on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. I remember there was a time where I had been living out here for a very long time and I was just so used to Disneyland, and it had been a while since I went to Walt Disney World, and I went and I just remember being so thrown off base the fact that Frontierland wasn't off of the hub. I was like, wait a second, I gotta walk through Liberty Square. And I grew up going to Walt Disney World, but I just became so used to Disneyland at that point. So I can just imagine Shanghai even crazier.
It is even crazier, and the first thing that you become, and props to my long-time good friend Chris Merritt. He worked on Mickey Avenue.
Oh, cool!
And did a phenomenal job with his team on that. I thought aesthetically it was really fun.
Yeah.
And it's short. It's really small.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the inside of the shops are kind of like what you would expect at ours. It's like one big emporium type thing.
I'm surprised,
but it's not as long as. No, it's not.
I'm surprised because the castle's so big.
No,
I would expect a longer approach.
Because
to the castle.
Remember what you have. So what you have between town-ish square and the castle is you have Mickey Avenue, but then you also have Gardens of the Imagination, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is it's basically a viewing spot for the castle show at night. And then you have this long walk up to everything is big. Okay. And I didn't realize how big, physically, the space was until I was there. I was there from 9 to 8 were the hours, and I walked 11.4 miles. Wow. In the park.
Okay.
So
too big?
To get there from here is a journey. It's like to walk from Treasure Cove to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
That's a hike.
It's
dude.
like
it's not like bouncing around Disneyland.
Yeah, it's like Disneyland
really
is especially small, but it's like hopping the Esplanade to DCA or something.
It's like walking around Epcot.
Yeah.
If Epcot's lake was filled in,
okay,
it would be like walking around Epcot.
So it's massive.
It's huge.
All right.
It's a huge property, and the walkways for the most part are huge. People complained when DCA opened because the walkways were really big here.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, walking through Shanghai Disneyland is like walking on the 405 freeway.
Oh.
It is so wide, the walkways, because there are so many people that come to this park.
Yeah.
That they had no choice. And they designed it. You could tell from a design point of view that this was designed to be the ultimate people eater.
Why didn't they just cap the number? Like the...
Well, then you cap your income.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know.
I don't think the company's into that these days.
I guess not, but...
A little bird told me I think they're probably interested in making money these days.
But just imagine that risk. What if it just wasn't super popular? Then you've invested way more than you really needed to, I feels like.
Well, but how much does a walkway cost?
Really? Well, the buildings get bigger. I don't know. That seems a little crazy.
It is huge. And one thing that I will say, and this is not... I've said this before, and I'm sure I'll say this on other podcasts and in my writings about things as well. It's not a knock on the design team, but I will say that I think that Shanghai Disneyland is not charming.
Okay.
So it's void of charm, and it's definitely void of intimacy.
Okay. That
you would get, walking around Disneyland, some of the little meandering walkways really don't exist.
Okay. Is it magical? Is it?
That's a tough question.
Spectacular.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Okay.
Right? It's overwhelming, and I don't want to skew away from like the positive adjectives, but to me in my mind I kind of glom together magical with charming and intimate, right? So if you're from California and you go to Walt Disney World to Magic Kingdom, you know it's bigger, and you could tell they learned and they made this to eat a lot of Floridians that were going to be going here and people from the South. Again, it's that on steroids.
Okay.
So if you think Magic Kingdom is big in Florida, it's like 5 times. It feels like it's 5 times that.
Okay.
And so you do lose that immediate connection, that magical intimacy that you do. Definitely with our part, like Disneylanders going to Shanghai. Huge shock. Huge shock to the system, because it's kind of like going from a mom and pop store to Best Buy or a Super Walmart. Yeah. It's definitely a big box park.
Okay. Interesting. Now, you did mention between Mickey Avenue, I almost called it Main Street, between Mickey Avenue and the castle is Gardens of Imagination.
Yes.
Which does have some rides in it, right? There's Dumbo and the Fantasia Carousel.
Yes.
And even a Marvel Universe thing there, which I'm kind of curious if
I didn't do that. I just wandered right on by.
Did it feel out of place?
No, because I didn't even see it, to be honest with you. So if it was in a building somewhere, I don't even know. No, I didn't even see it.
Okay, so it's not like they had
There was I saw one sign.
Okay.
I saw one sign. The sign was right next to Dumbo.
Okay.
It was like this walkway towards Tomorrowland, and it's like a little thing that's between Tomorrowland and Gardens of Imagination.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that, at least. So, but it is a legitimate land that they have between Mickey Avenue and...
It doesn't feel like a land. No? It feels like connective tissue is what it feels like.
Can you see... So you'll see Dumbo. So if you're standing there watching
It's like you're standing in the hub looking to the left and you look right at Dumbo.
Okay, so it's off to the side.
It's like right there. It's not like in front. It's like where our Carnation Gardens would be.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in front of the castle, it's really nothing but viewing area, and then it's raked. As you go forward, it goes down because the front of the castle
for viewing.
You can't walk through the castle from the front.
Oh, interesting.
At all.
You have to go around.
You have to go on the side. Around Dumbo.
Is that because they do shows?
They do shows. They have a big stage show there, which is funny because the performers are tiny because the castle's so big.
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual height of the castle is. I looked online and it's not readily available, but it's freaking big. Yeah. I'll tell you that. It's really, really big.
Yeah, and very wide.
And girth, right? It's huge. Right. It's thick because it houses a restaurant. Mm-hmm. It's got 2 shops in it. Uh-huh. It's the bottom of it. The bottom underground level is the not on grade, but the bottom level of it is the
Voyage to the Crystal Grotto.
It's the dark ride scene for that, and then it's got a really cool, pretty elaborate Snow White walkthrough.
Yeah,
that goes all the way up to the top of the castle. So it is so big that people have said, and I kind of get this. It's so big that it doesn't feel like a Disney castle almost. Yeah. It's like you're at the Kremlin. It looks like Red Square. I mean, It looks like you're in Moscow and this huge thing is in front of you. It looks like it could be an actual operating structure.
Yeah.
It could be a castle.
It's not
so
my
big.
favorite visually. It's not my favorite. Mine
In person, it's really impressive because of the closer you get to it, the more detailing you can see, and the more of the charm of that, the love that was put into the architecture on that, is very apparent when you're very close to it. So when you can touch it and see it and be part of it and wander through it, beautiful beautiful mosaics inside of Disney princess scenes.
Was the Snow White thing cool?
And that was great.
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing. So the artistry, and God, at the very top of the thing, it's open and there's like a garden in the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes. You can look up and see the sky, and there's
Okay, it's not open air. It's like a...
Oh, it is. It is.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, and there's like a courtyard.
Oh, wow.
It's big, dude. It's really big.
It looks massive. I mean, I've seen the video, and
I was impressed. I mean, it definitely is a wow, and the bigger you get, you're like, this thing's growing and growing. It's like you're standing in front of the Space Odyssey, the monolith, It is big. I did not go into the restaurant when I was there because I had already eaten.
How was the food?
So the food I ate one main meal, and that was at Barbosa's Bounty.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of like now we're jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the Blue Bayou. It's set up just like Blue Bayou there.
Okay.
But it's buffeteria. You tell them what you want, you get your food, and then you go seat yourself.
Okay.
And so I did. And I would put the food up against anything at Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
It's on par.
Ooh, I was expecting...
I was kind of thinking it's going to be kind of tourist slop.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was as good as anything I've had at Potter.
It's as good as my bangers and mash. I love
absolutely.
Me some bangers and mash.
Yeah, it was really good. So the castle is great. So the castle, the walkthrough, was it the fairy book? You have it written?
The story, hold on a sec. It's the Voyage to the Crystal Grotto.
No, that's the ride.
Oh, what are you asking about?
Enchanted Storybook.
Oh, Enchanted Storybook Castle.
No, there's a whole walkthrough.
Oh, yeah, I don't know the name of that.
It's the Enchanted Fairy Tales.
Well, it was supposed to be a celebration of all the princesses originally, and now it's become just Snow White. Yeah.
And it's cool. It's done with a lot of Pepper's Ghost stuff, like ours is.
I saw a video, and I was like, ooh, this looks pretty cool.
And they had some really cool, really elaborate scenes.
Yeah.
So what's funny is, and it goes back to the cultural thing again, the Chinese culture, they don't understand pulsing. If there's an open door, they're going through it.
Gotcha.
And if they know there's another show scene, they're going. Okay. Whether this show scene's over or not, they're going so they're not in the back next time.
Gotcha.
So it was a little frustrating, but very interesting. I had to, anytime I started to feel like frustrated, I put my designer hat on and stood back and was like, this is amazing benchmarking.
Yeah. Because
this is real world how people that don't know what they're supposed to do react to the stuff. There's no cast member in there saying, okay, wait here until the next room.
Yep.
There's no like on the nose cue, like when Tinkerbell waves her magic wand, there's nothing like that for these guys to pick up on, and I don't know that they would. Mm-hmm. Like halfway through the scene, there's special effects and stuff happening, and suddenly 2 or 3 of them go, and then the whole herd of them goes, and I'm 5'7", I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm going to be in the back. I'm not going to see anything. Yeah. So then I found myself leapfrogging around them halfway through, and so I missed half the show just so I could see what the heck was going on from scene to scene. Yeah. Which is a little frustrating.
Mm-hmm. I would say it was frustrating.
But it was great. It was really good. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could have gone through twice. Not ADA accessible. That's one thing. So China.
Different laws.
Oh, dude, China, including Disney. Yeah. Not terribly ADA friendly. Okay. At all. It's
good to know.
I've got bad knees, so I thought I was going to freaking die walking up. It's not just
a lot of stairs.
Dude, it's not a little. It's like walking up the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna die by the time I got up. I was like, oh my god, this is how it ends.
That would not fly.
I'm in the Snow White walkthrough, and this is how it ends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
there were worse ways to go.
So, but no, it was really, that was interesting. That I would say was pretty close to charming.
Okay.
There were moments. Mm-hmm. It's not void of charm, but I mean, that was probably one of very, very few intimate moments. And the scenes are really well done. So kudos to the team that worked on that.
Now, you did mention that the castle, there's a lot of detail when you get close to it.
Yeah.
I'm curious, since this was originally intended, they made a big deal out of the fact that this is a castle for all the princesses. I'm curious, are there little details on the exterior of the castle, though the interior has changed?
There, I would say there are Sleeping Beauty marks.
Okay.
There are
so you'll
Sleeping
find
Beauty marks. See what I did there? there are, and definitely inside.
Okay.
There's mosaic. There's like 4 mosaics that are beautiful, like Rapunzel and Mulan, and that kind of thing. I think it was Mulan.
I'm sure it was Mulan.
Could be.
Right.
They do love their Mulan there.
I'm sure.
As Americanized and stylized as it is, Mulan's a big deal there. Yeah, you could tell. So yeah, that was my adventure with the castle. Like I said, they have a character dining thing in there, and the menu is kind of frou-frou.
Okay.
But then there's the whole character thing, and I'm just like, if I'm going to go into a nice restaurant and pay for a frou-frou meal, I don't necessarily want all the kids and all the characters around me,
all the craziness.
So I did not do that.
Okay, we're clearly not going to get through everything that you've done because
that would be forever and ever.
It'd be a 3-hour podcast, and nobody wants that. But I do want to. Well, which land do you want to go to next?
What are you most curious about?
I'm most curious.
We haven't talked. So what are you most curious about?
I'm most curious about pirates.
Okay,
that was
Treasure Cove.
So Treasure Cove, which is a completely new land. I was actually a little surprised. Obviously I learned about all this stuff when it first opened and everything, and I kind of forget, having not gone. I was like, I looked at Adventure Isle, and I was like, well, that's where Pirates is going to be. And I'm like, wait a second. No, wait. They actually created a whole new land specifically for pirates.
Yeah.
Treasure Cove, where Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for the Sunken Treasure exists, which is that new ride system that everybody saw online, lost their minds over.
Yep.
And your thoughts are, and you walked right on.
So going into Treasure Cove.
Yeah. So where is it? Like off the hub?
Sure. If you're looking down at Disneyland, it's where like the submarine voyage is, submarines and Autopia.
So it's not a land off of the hub. You have to walk through something to get.
Well, you walk from the hub-ish area. Okay. You walk a little bit to the right, and then the entrance is there.
Okay.
To it, yes, and the whole area is just. I have a thing for pirates, obviously. Yeah. So the whole thing is just like you've walked into Pirate Land. And there's cannons everywhere that are blown out and rusted out and have barnacles all over them. And there's skeletons everywhere and, abandon all hope, signs posted. And really cool atmospheric, props and design.
Does it feel like one of the movies, or does it just feel like...
No, it feels like you're in Treasure Island.
Okay.
Yep. And so you wander through that, and then suddenly you're in front of Pirates of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And anybody, I could say this at the end. We'll say this at the end too. But on our Instagram, which is Theme Park Adventure, I'm posting all the pictures I took.
Yeah.
So things that you hear us talking about, you can go to our Instagram and see a visual reference.
Perfect.
For all these pictures. So there you are. I turned the corner. I didn't have a map. I was like, I'm wandering this. I'm going for it. And I turned the corner, and it's like, well, there it is. Yeah. I'm staring right at Pirates of the Caribbean.
Do they have the app as well, or are they really?
They have an app, and the app is really good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the app is really good to use there.
Do they have Fast Pass?
So they have 2 levels of Fast Pass. Oh. They have one that you, that you can get, and then there's I guess there's 3. Then there's one where you can buy. So like if the lines were really gnarly for something you want to be on, it's like just the big rides. It's not the little things, but it's the big ones like Pirates and Tron. You can buy, and it's like 50 yuan, which is about, I don't know. It's not much.
Okay.
Like 100 yuan is like $14 US. So it's
we're heading in that direction in America.
There you go. So I was prepared to buy all these, and then you can buy one that covers all of them. Mm-hmm. You can do it once on all of them. Didn't have to do.
Okay.
Fortunately, any of that stuff. But yeah, there are ways. So if you're on a quick time crunch and you're blowing through there are ways to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that's a finite amount too. So you probably want to do that in the morning because you get there at 3 in the afternoon.
It's like what Universal Studios does.
Exactly.
They have, what do they call it? The Gate A passes. And they have a limited number.
Busch Gardens. I mean, everybody does it except Disney. Yeah, everybody. So
trust me, they're getting there.
Yeah. So there's Pirates, and I'm like, well, here I go. This is the big buildup that I've heard.
How many times did you ride it?
5.
Okay, cool.
I did Pirates 5 times. And what's interesting is in my line of work as creative director and show writer, there are certain rides that when they come online, suddenly everybody and their mother for every project, benchmarks them. You got to look at it on YouTube. You got to look at it. And I'm like, this is great because I'm actually finally here in person. And I finally get to see this.
But you did watch it on YouTube.
I've seen it on YouTube, so many pictures exhaustively, sure. So I knew what I was getting into. Have acquaintances and peers that worked on the attraction. So yeah. And many people in our industry consider it to be the greatest modern attraction.
Yeah.
Now. So there's a lot of hype going up to this. And then I'm like, look at you, like, sizing it up, like, all right.
Okay,
all
yeah.
right, let's see
it's a
what
lot
you
to
got.
live up to.
Let's see what you got, And so going into it, the queue is massive. You can tell it's built to hold a lot of people. And I'm sure it does. The latter part of the queue is really cool because it gives you a lot of really detailed scenes, like peek-in scenes. And one thing throughout the entire land, which I really love, there's a lot of peekaboo moments where you can look like in Splash Mountain when you're in queue, you can look through and see Brer Rabbit. Same thing here.
Okay.
Except on a huge scale. Like there's one peekaboo towards the end of the queue where you're looking down towards the end of the ride, and it's got to be a good 25 feet through.
Oh, okay.
It's a big peekaboo. It's really cool.
That's cool.
So got to the loading area, and I'm like, oh my God, there are the magic boats, that everybody's talking about. And so got loaded into a boat, and off I went. The entire spiel is in Mandarin.
Okay.
So there's no English. Johnny Depp sings Yo-Ho at the end.
Okay.
But there's no English. Like in Japan, if you go on the attractions, part of it's English, part of it's, right? Part of it's in Japanese. No, here it's pretty much Mandarin. So Adam Bazark, who did the show writing for it, we were on Facebook, and he's like, hey, how about that show writing? I said, dude, I didn't understand it. I don't know what he goes, trust me, it's genius. I said, okay, then I'm sure it's genius, Adam. So, but yeah, so you don't know.
Yeah.
What you just have to look at what you're looking at. It's overwhelming when you go through the first time. I take it you've watched video of the attraction, right? So it's overwhelming.
The thing that the first time you watched the video for me, there were certain things that are video projection stuff that I was told were actual sets. So my mind was blown when certain things I saw I thought were set pieces, and then later I found out, oh, it's actually just projection. It's like, okay, less impressive.
There's set pieces that are immersion tunnels. There's a lot of media, and I'll just get this right away. Too much media for me, for my taste. I'm a practical guy.
Yeah.
But I get it. I understand that's where our industry's at.
Where do you think, is there an attraction where you think does the best at that?
Spider-Man.
Okay, I would 1,000% agree with you.
Yeah, Spider-Man. And
that's a lot of screens, though.
And I'm going to say, Universal's about to go whoop, whoop. But you know what? After my Shanghai experience, I still think Spider-Man is the greatest modern attraction that we have.
Spider-Man blows my mind. And you know what's so crazy about that is that's a 1999. We're going back to the last century.
Oh, yeah.
That's an attraction from 1999 that is still
I still think that's the standard. As far as mixing media and practical, I think that Spider-Man does it probably the best.
I wouldn't fight that. I think that that's an incredible attraction. I think, honestly, with the latest...
So, like, half your listeners just booed and half of them cheered.
No, it's a very...
people love Spider-Man.
Well, the fact that it's going to DCA now, I've been saying for a really long time, obviously, Disney has to make a Spider-Man attraction if they're going to start doing Marvel stuff. They have a really,
but we don't know. We don't know that it's going to be the same thing.
Oh, it's not. It's going to be. Right? It's going to be a swinging thing, from what I
think.
Understand.
It's going to be right. So
it can't be the same thing. Florida
stands alone, and Florida, as far as I'm concerned, still the winner.
Yeah.
But Pirates in Shanghai is super impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easily right up there with Spider-Man. Okay. I mean, it's neck and neck.
What's some of your favorite stuff?
So it has, now to counter there's a lot of media for me. What media they did have, like the immersion tunnels where you're at the bottom of the sea and all that stuff, that works really well. Really, really well. Better than the big scenes in like Transformers and all that. I mean, it works because you're like literally enveloped in this screen.
Yeah.
So that does work really well. And I get why they did it, because that's the only way you're really going to do that kind of thing. And the giant squid, the Kraken or whatever, swimming through, you see it swimming through the holes in the ship that you're going through. That worked really well too. That was really well done. Pirates has two of the greatest practical sets I think I've ever seen in my life. So it's the ship graveyard when you're in the bottom of the ocean. That is just unreal. I mean, anybody and everybody that worked on that should be so damn proud of themselves, because that is just, I was gobsmacked. I was just blown out of my seat. I couldn't believe how pretty and how well done that scene and how big, that scene was. And
that's the word for Shanghai, big.
Dude, the show building's big. It feels like it's like 50 feet tall.
Is it hidden well?
It's big. But no, it's not hidden because if you look up, they have projection like you're looking at the surface of the ocean.
No, I mean from the exterior.
Amazing.
Is it hidden
well?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay.
And you look at, but you're inside, if you're in cars, you look at cars and you see all the rigging and catwalks.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, no. In this, you look up and you're looking at the surface of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. This is awesome, you know? And then also the scene where the end where you turn and you're actually between the two galleons that are broadsiding each other.
That was my favorite in the video. Yeah.
Oh my God, because they're really, really big.
Yeah.
And so you come out of a screen into that, kind of the way you do Forbidden Journey into the practical sets. So, but the Black Pearl comes, breaching out of the water, and something that you don't see in the video that was surprised me at first, which is actually really good, is it just sprays water everywhere.
Oh, cool!
And everybody screams, and you're like, okay, I totally bought off on that.
Yeah.
This big thing, because it's not in 3D.
Yeah.
It's very clear, but it's not in 3D, and this big ship just breaches right next to you. But having the water come down on you, I thought, okay, that works.
Nice touch.
Yeah, that works. But when you turn between those two ships, oh man, it's just goosebumps and hackles time, because it's just, to me, that is as good as it gets in our industry. So anybody, again, that worked on that, oh my God, you knocked it out of the park.
That's incredible. So there are two things, one question and then one comment that I have. Question, so we know that these boats are not free-floating like we're used to.
They are not.
Does it feel like they're not free-floating?
It does.
Okay.
Because, and what I think works really well is, so you the only drop in this ride, except for the end where you're going backwards, the only drop is like at the beginning, it quote unquote drops you into the water off the load belt.
Sure.
And it's tiny. It's like when you get to the top of our up ramp and it drops you down into the horseshoe. It's like that.
Okay.
So you feel, yes, this is buoyant. I'm actually, the boat obviously floats.
Okay.
It's on water. But what was really cool is once you pass by their Blue Bayou type area into the caves and it gets dark and spooky, the boat speeds up.
Oh, cool.
Which I thought, okay, because I knew that there was doom buggy type control. It's like Omnimover control. You can turn the boat to look at things and control where your guests are watching. But you can also vary the speed. And I thought that it worked, even though I didn't know what was being said, but Adam wrote it, so I'm sure it was genius.
Yeah, right.
Whatever's being said as you speed up on that, it worked. And you could hear people in the boat going, oh, because it's an emotional thing at that point. And so to that extent, I think that the command over the ride vehicle, I didn't sit there going, oh, I'm not in a boat. Yeah. I just sat there going, this is really good.
Yeah. The one thing that drove me crazy, though, was the fact that we're seeing a lot of... So there's a lot of times where the video screen meets the water, so the actual physical water, and you're seeing giant waves and stuff on the screen. They didn't have a wave machine in the pool of water that you're in. And it was like just very still, calm, flat water juxtaposed against these waves and stuff on the screen. And I was like, oh, for continuity's sake, that drove me crazy.
It never even bothered me once.
Okay.
I didn't catch myself looking at the water.
Okay.
I didn't think about it at all.
Okay. So Pirates,
So for me, it was a non-issue.
Was Pirates your favorite ride in the park?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did you do Tron?
I did. I did Tron twice.
Over at Tomorrowland. So they have the Tron Lightcycle Power Run, which is currently being built at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on this? I mean, my immediate thought the second I heard about this was, it's a bigger version of, is it Pony Express?
Yeah.
Over at Knott's.
Very, very same type of experience. Different ride manufacturer. I would say it's more comfortable than Pony Express. It's very much, if you've been on Banshee in Florida, it's that.
Is it more? Okay.
You're leaning forward. You have two.
It's got to be tighter, right?
It's fairly tight, but you don't feel. You don't feel like on Pony Express. Oh my God! If you exhale,
Pony Express actually scared the crap out of me.
You're locked in.
When I did it, I got extremely claustrophobic, which is why I was scared about.
Yeah, no, there was never any moment where I was like, oh, I've got this disc on my back.
Okay.
Yeah, never at all. Now it was cold when I went.
Oh, okay.
It was really cold, rainy, and windy. what did go through my mind was, we know that Southern folks, they have the best food in the world, so they like eating, and so sometimes Southern folks are 4X. They're big people.
Yeah.
They're going to have a problem with that, the same way they do Forbidden Journey, same way they do with Banshee.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to turn people away on Tron that aren't going to be able to fit.
Yeah.
Now, I'm portly. I'm not huge, but
Yeah.
I'm a big guy, biggish guy, and I was wearing my big jacket on top of that, and I fit fine.
Okay.
On the attraction, it wasn't even tight. So I mean, but sure, there will be folks in Florida. I'm sure
80% of the people should be fine.
Oh yeah, if not more.
Okay.
If not more. Cool. So Tron is two experiences, one in the day, one at night.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because you do have the outside area.
Yeah.
So when you launch, you go into the outside area, which to me was always weird. I thought, oh, that completely takes me out of the moment because you're supposed to be on the grid, blah, blah, blah. And I suppose it does for story's sake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the show writer and me screaming. But it works. It's fun. You do it. You're launched out. You go back into the building. You do a little bow tie type thing, kind of like Rock and Roller Coaster, and then you're done. It's a very quick ride.
Okay.
But it packs a punch, and it's really good, and I'm sure they are going to be very, very successful in Florida with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other like rides that you really want to talk about before we get going? Like, did you do a Peter Pan's Flight?
I did.
How was that compared?
It was
to
wonderful.
Ours? Yeah, is it nice?
And that was wonderful. I would say that was charming.
Okay.
Even though the ride vehicle is bigger, it's tiered, so it's double decker. So there's
I love the
people
tiered
sitting behind.
stuff.
Yeah,
I love that. That's great.
So there's a row behind you. It's not just one little row that you're in. There's a row behind you. I would say probably that is, after seeing them at least all on video, I would say, and we're talking about video, I got to plug Attractions 360. They do a really good job. They have low light, like a mirrorless lens that they use.
Yeah.
And I don't know them personally, but I spent a lot of time watching their videos. Mm-hmm. They do amazing flow-throughs of these attractions. So Attractions 360 on YouTube. I would say that by far their Peter Pan is the best out of any of the parks.
Is it a good length?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's good, and it just, there are little touches that are really neat. Like, you know, in ours, where you come swinging down towards Skull Rock and you hit the water or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there, you hear the splash, and they have registered projection of the water splashing up on the rocks all around you. So that's just like really cool little details like that are really nice. Cool. Huge queue. Oh my God.
Really?
Like, probably one of the biggest queues in the park.
You walked on Pirates and you didn't on Peter Pan?
I had a little bit of a wait on Peter Pan. But there was a huge section of the queue that was like, it was like Magic Mountain status. It was just like Switchback City, you know?
Yeah.
That wasn't being used.
Man.
But I thought, oh my God. And then after that, going outside of it, I realized there's this whole little courtyard area that also had stanchion plugs. And I'm like,
oh no.
Oh my God, that's got to be like the extended queue. Oh no, that has to be a 4-hour queue. I mean, it's ridiculous how big that line was.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I did the Pirates, the stunt show.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you about shows. So the Pirates stunt show, which is called, this of course is over in Treasure Cove, Eye of the Storm, Captain Jack's Stunt Spectacular. Yeah. So there's somebody playing Captain Jack, but then the real Captain Jack comes and is upset or something like that. Is that the story?
Sure, it's all Mandarin.
You have no idea.
It's all Mandarin again. I didn't know what was going on.
Cool stunt show.
But I'm not a huge everybody knows I'm not a huge show guy.
Yeah.
But I know
How are we friends?
But I know that I needed to go see this. I don't know. You hate Tiki. You hate, what else do you hate?
I don't hate
You
Tiki.
hate Art Deco.
Wait a second. You are not allowed to say I hate Tiki.
You hate Tiki. You hate Art Deco.
No.
Oh, the list goes on.
No,
man.
I do not hate these things.
But I knew that I had to see that because they have. So they have the. If you've been to Universal to City Walk, they have the iFly thing where people are like, parachute jumping or free falling, but over this giant wind tunnel. That's what they have there. That's the big wow moment of the show. Is they have this battle in the sky, and that was really impressive in person. The show felt maybe a little long for me just because I didn't know what was going on. You can't tell what's going on. I don't understand the words. I'm up there screaming.
Yeah.
But everybody seemed to really like it.
Cool.
And I had a great, beautiful seat for it. I sat right below the tech console, which is great. And what's really funny is they've got a pre-show in there where, again, you go into the building. There's a big outdoor queue. Then inside is a big switchback area. And they do kind of like a pre-show thing where the characters come out and get everybody all fired up. Mm-hmm. Again, the Chinese don't understand this because if a character came out and walked to the left of the balcony above me, everybody in the room would cram to the left side of the building. And then everybody come back to the right and cram over here, even though it was staged where you could tell that meant to be like engaging crowds at different areas.
Yeah.
Oh no, everybody was just cramming to one side, then cramming and pushing to the other side, and then everybody's surging to the front. And you're like, dude, there are like 12 doors here. They're obviously going to open beyond, and we're going to go into a theater. But they don't know any better.
Yeah.
They didn't get it. So I thought, again, I was just like, wow, this is really interesting.
It's an interesting study.
To watch this. Yeah, because it was just like everybody, wherever the actor was, the entire room, hundreds of people would just surge to one side.
Yeah.
It was weird, man. It's like being at a concert when the act finally comes out and you're like, I thought this was a good spot. And everybody pushes you. You know, no, it's like that. It's like being stuck against the barricades and I can't breathe, you know. But so that was a very interesting study, I thought, too.
Did you see the fireworks?
I did. I saw the fire. Well, they have it's the castle show, right? Which again, it's a registered projection show. It was long. It was a long show. It felt like a long time. I can imagine when it's crowded, it's really crowded. I had a great spot for it.
I would assume you cannot be close to that castle to watch Sauron, so you're blocking all the fireworks, right? Like, you'd have to be back a bit. Well, because the castle's so big.
Yeah, but they don't... I guess the fireworks were, I would say, ours feel better, bigger, because I guess our castle's smaller or whatever. Yeah. But, like, I don't recall there being any, like, fireworks that really, like, felt like I was punched in the chest or anything like that.
Okay.
It was mostly just the projection stuff.
Okay.
Which, to be honest, not a huge fan of, like, Disney's projection stuff that they do on the castles.
I love it. I'm just over it, if that makes sense, which I know it hasn't been all that long. It's just like that scene.
It sounds horrible to say, but, like, if you've seen one...
I kind of agree.
Right.
Although, have you seen... you saw Happily Ever After, right?
Yeah.
At Magic Kingdom. I really loved Happily Ever After.
I've seen it online. I don't think we saw it in person.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
See it, and when you're there, see it. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I feel like Magic Kingdom does a great job with them. But yes, I feel like once you've seen it, and it's kind of overused at this point. But
what's really interesting... But now, what's interesting about this show is when it was over, everybody leaves. It's like somebody presses a button, and I, like... threw myself out of the way because it's like about face, leave, and everybody just out of there. But afterwards, they have like this. It's like exit music, but it's definitely Chinese music. It's more traditional, and they have really beautiful projections on the castle of like peach blossoms and lanterns and stuff. And that goes on for like 10 minutes, and there were literally a handful of us standing there watching that.
Yeah.
The whole park just dumped, dude. I mean, it like emptied in the matter of maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we were just standing there. Like, everybody had left our area. Like within 5 minutes, the hub area was gone. It was cleared. And so we're standing there watching this thing until, like, the lights go off, you know? Again, there was a Caucasian couple that were watching. And so when the lights finally went out and the music stopped, they went, woo! And they're like cheering and clapping, and nobody else. And it was funny because they turned around and they're like, okay, we're the only ones cheering. Yeah.
Yep.
And they looked at me and we kind of laughed or whatever. And that was it. So, but the funny thing also is, and again, it's cultural. It's not negative, but it's cultural. Right when that music stopped, it's like beautiful, like kiss goodnight moment, you know? And you're like, this is it. This is the end of my Shanghai, experience. The cast members immediately go, okay, we're closed. Go home now, type of thing.
Yeah.
And you're like,
there goes the match.
Wow, that kind of broke the fourth wall down, didn't it? It's like, okay, go home. We're closed. And it's like, really?
That's awesome. Anyway, we could stay talking forever about this, I feel like. But I think we're going to have to wrap it up soon.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about Adventure Isle, right? Which is
Talk
crazy.
to me about it.
So Adventure Isle butts right up against. So Adventure Isle and Treasure Cove are the right side of the park.
Okay.
It's basically where Tomorrowland going into the subs and Fantasyland would be.
Okay.
Right? By far my favorite area of the park, the right hand side. I spent half my day in Treasure Cove, and I was like, dude, I got time to be moving along,
right.
So then I went into Adventure Isle, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck here for the rest of the day, because it's really pretty.
Adventure Isle has Soaring Over the Horizon, as well as Tarzan Call of the Jungle, which is a show.
A show which I didn't see. I didn't do Soarin' because it's pretty much the same as that we have, and I'm not a huge fan of Soarin'.
Okay. So
it's got Roaring Rapids, which is the big whitewater ride.
Oh, with the giant alligator type of thing.
That doesn't work. That's kind of
still doesn't work.
No, it's the Yeti.
I was going to say it's the Yeti.
It's the Yeti.
Shanghai.
Oh yeah, it is. It is the Chinese Yeti.
Did they make him a disco?
No, he just kind of sits there.
Oh, nice.
So one, like I said, where it's familiar but not. Everything is that way. So, like, you go in and there's this beautiful rock work, and you're like, oh, this is really super impressive. And it is. It's like Pandora impressive. It's, like, really pretty. And then you see, and you're like, I've seen this before. This is Grizzly River Rapids. Even the bridge crossing, everything is like, this is Grizzly.
Yeah.
This is totally Grizzly.
Yeah.
And it's just clad differently. And so getting into it, I was the only one that didn't have a poncho.
Okay.
Boy, they're selling ponchos left and right getting in. I'm like,
Yeah.
can't be that bad because they've got to be able to lower the water and all that stuff. And I didn't get that wet at all on it. And everybody was terrified riding it. And I was like, I'm not going to get wet. But the thing that's crazy about the River Rapids type rides, and it drives me crazy personally as a designer because I've worked on a few of them, you can't guarantee that your guests are seeing the same show.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was played out for me perfectly. We went through the scene where that big dinosaur, big moment is.
He's behind you.
And my back's to it. So I would have missed it if the people across from me didn't like go, oh, and point.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I'm about to miss this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm craning, you know how hard it is to turn around in Grizzly. I'm like craning, trying to see this stupid thing. And it was just kind of in the dark up there. It wasn't moving. You could hear it roaring or whatever. And then that was it.
Yeah.
But
the land,
pretty,
beautiful.
stunning, very pretty. And then, of course, everybody says the best thing in the park is the discovery, the challenge trails, which is like you harness yourself in.
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
you walk through. It's like an obstacle course. And throughout the course, you have 3 courses. One is very easy, one is medium, and one is challenging.
Which one did you do?
And so here's the thing. I blew this because when I got there at the beginning, the thing has 0 capacity.
Oh,
dude,
okay.
0 capacity, and it's long. It's a long thing. So I got there right when I did, and I went in, and they said it was a 60-minute wait.
No,
and I'm like, dude, everything else is a walk-on.
Yeah,
everybody's doing that now. I'm gonna do it when it's cold at the end of the day when the sun's burning out. I went and it was 75 minutes, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get to do this. So I didn't get to do it.
Okay. Well, you got to go back.
But you can walk. You can walk the entire course underneath, which they've designed so that families can follow. Chinese very big with the whole family unit participating. So if you got grandma and grandpa there, or you have a toddler or whatever, the entire family unit can follow along pretty much and watch your adventure.
Okay.
And so I thought
That's cool. I like
that was
that.
a cool design.
Yeah.
Cool design side of that. So I did that. And I watched. I got a lot of pictures that I'll be posting again on Instagram and all that. So in that regard, I failed because everybody said, "Dude, if you do one thing, you've got to do the." I didn't do it, but I walked it. And again, I got bad knees, and by that point, my knees were just like screaming at me. So I probably better off not physically doing that because it is physical. It is very challenging.
Yeah.
But very cool the way that it's done. But yeah, definitely Treasure Cove and Adventure Isle. By far, I think the best parts of the park.
Fantasyland, very
Florida, very Florida.
New Fantasyland-ish kind of feel.
I like the mine train better there. I think that Shanghai has a better mine train.
Okay, we didn't really talk about it, but how was Voyage to the Crystal Grotto?
Everybody gives it grief.
It looks to me that looks charming.
Everybody that I talk to go, oh God, that's like war. I don't know what the problem is with that because you know what? It's like Storybook Land and Jungle Cruise had a baby.
Yeah.
And again, the familiar, not familiar type thing,
Yeah.
you get down to it and you're like, oh, those are Jungle Cruise boats.
Yeah.
Because they're Jungle Cruise boats. They're just clad differently. They look like Rainbow Bright exploded on them, So it worked. Every scene is a vignette from a Disney film, but it's got a weird, very Chinese, very Asian story where there's like some mysterious giant glowing crystal under the castle that gives everything its charm and power, I guess, or whatever. Very Chinese. That's a very Chinese type of storyline. And so you go through all these scenes and it's all accented with music and with fountains, water fountains, and all really good. Again, Mulan. Dude.
People love her.
Oh my God. Everybody in the boat was oohing and awing.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Cameras that were out, phones were out.
It's all about Mulan and Stitch over there, right?
Stitch is a big thing. They loved Aladdin. Oh man.
Oh, interesting.
Aladdin, they loved that scene.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Big time. And then they were oohing and awing about the giant crystal. So there, and that was all in Mandarin, so I had no idea what it was.
Was that the stuff, the dark
That's underneath the
portion?
castle.
Okay.
Yeah, and lots of registered projection.
Okay.
Throughout the park, lots of registered projection on things. So I liked it. I thought it was long. It was long. It was a long ride, which you don't get much of these days.
Yeah.
So just for that alone, going on a long ride was cool.
I liked the video I saw of that. I don't know why people.
It is what it is, man. Yeah. It's like going through Storybook. And
I mean, it's cool that
I thought it was going to be better than that. Well, it's a bunch of miniature models. I mean, what do you want?
It's cool that there's an attraction in the castle.
I thought it was great.
Well,
cool. I had no problem with that at all.
Okay.
So that was really good.
Anything you want to add before now? Yeah, anything you want to add before we get going? Yeah, because I don't want to.
I mean, we could talk forever.
I know we
about
could.
Things, right?
Okay.
It's just it's one of those things that if you're a Disney fan, absolutely, if you have the opportunity, I would say go and do it. Just be prepared that it is very different.
Okay.
It is. I would say that it is vastly different than any of the Disneyland or Magic Kingdom parks.
I can't wait to go. I'm excited to go.
Yeah, it's very unique, and it is. I would say unique is the word for Shanghai Disneyland.
Cool.
Unique and big. Really,
huge
freaking big. Don't take your I'm going to impress the Chinese shoes. Take your sneakers.
You're right.
Because you're going to be hating yourself if you go in your lifts or your pumps or whatever. Take your sneakers because you walk your feet to the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, I think that means it's trivia time. Okay, Rick, do you want to hit me with the trivia question first, or shall I hit you?
I'll hit you with one because I know you're going to know the answer to it.
Let's hear
But
it.
might as well be easy, though, because nobody knows really what's going on in Shanghai.
Okay.
Right? So what is the one thing... Well, but there's more than one things now. I've learned this.
Maybe we have the same trivia question.
Maybe we do. What is the one thing that all of the Disneyland Magic Kingdom parks have that Shanghai does not?
Haunted Mansion and Mad Tea Party.
Well, there's also... See,
we have the same trivia question.
Dude, I thought, okay, so here's where it is. I thought I was brilliant. I'm in the shower getting ready to come over here. I'm like, it's going to be Main Street, USA.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton, I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
So I get out and I tell Johanna, I'm like, oh, so here's my question for Jeff. And she's like, Jungle Cruise? I'm like, God, no! So... There you go. There's my trivia question, my incredibly flawed
Well, you know what? I had the same thing.
Trivia question. So they've got a teacups thing there too, but it's poo. It's poo.
And so
teacups.
the reason I read is because like tea is an art form to them, to the Chinese. Like some people like study tea, and it's like a big thing for them.
They've got a really cool tea house there.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
Okay.
It's part of the gardens.
Okay. So I guess they wanted to respect it more than having giant cups that people were spinning in.
Yes.
So they don't have the Mad Tea Party for that reason. And the Haunted Mansion isn't there because that culture believes in ghosts.
Oh my God. Well, that's a whole different...
It's all about respect and real fear.
They don't, that's more Japanese. They just don't get it in China.
Okay.
And this is a whole other podcast. Maybe towards Halloween we'll talk about this. Okay, cool. Because they just don't. Mainland China... They do not get haunted attractions.
Okay.
They're slowly creeping in there. They just don't get it. In one of my meetings that I was in, without getting too into the weeds there, we were discussing haunted attractions. Okay. And I was with about 20, 30 people in the room. And I just said to them, I said, just by show of hands, how many people here have been through an attraction where you walk through where either people in costume or things jump out at you with the sole purpose of scaring you?
Yeah.
Crickets.
Nobody.
It does not exist there.
Interesting.
So they just don't understand. They don't. It's just not part of the culture, which is really weird.
All right. Well, since we both kind of failed at the trivia question this week, let's go through and really think as many as we can. As you said, Main Street USA doesn't exist there technically.
Right. Does not exist.
Jungle Cruise doesn't exist. Haunted Mansion, Mad Tea Party.
Yep.
What else that the Magic Kingdoms have?
Tiki Room?
Tiki Room.
Do all the parks have Tiki Room? Does Hong Kong? No.
I don't know.
No, I don't think Hong Kong does.
At least the States ones.
But Hong Kong doesn't have it.
I don't know about Hong Kong.
I don't think Hong Kong does.
Probably not.
So, not a whole lot of attractions at Shanghai.
Okay.
So, Disneyland has what? What is it now? 68 attractions?
Disneyland has more attractions than the Magic Kingdom.
So Disneyland is like... So that was the shell shock there, too, was like... Disneyland, everywhere you turn, you bump into an attraction, right? No, at Shanghai, I think it's like less than 20.
Okay, wow.
It's like between 14 and 20.
Interesting.
You can count them like...
And they're already expanding. They're gonna... Is it a Toy Story Land that they've announced?
Yeah, that was all boarded up when I was there. And they've just now started... I just now started seeing pictures of it.
Okay.
So that's coming. And that's going to be very much like Hong Kong's, which is really cute, really nice. But no, it was just really weird. You're just like, whoa, there's not a whole lot of rides here.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people there, apparently, but there's not a whole lot of rides. Huh. I was surprised. One of the things that did take me back was how much expansion space inside the park proper there is.
Okay.
There's a lot of it. So there's a whole swath of land between Tomorrowland. Oh, I don't want to end on a negative. There's a whole swath of land between Tomorrowland and Mickey Avenue. It's just like a gigantic wide open field.
Does it feel like they opened before they were ready to open?
No,
I find that theme parks do that a lot.
No, but it feels like they were just like, well, eventually we're going to put stuff here, so that's the way it is. So from Tomorrowland, you can look over and see downtown Disney.
Okay. Oh,
which I thought was,
weird.
It's really weird to me.
That's weird.
And the landscaping is not really that pretty. And I think it's because of the harsh weather. I think it's because everything's freezing there.
Well, I wanted to ask you, and once again, don't want to end on a lousy note here, but I mean, there was the stories of everybody like defecating in the bushes and stuff like that.
I was so excited because I was so going to poop in a planter. I was like, I'm going to go and I'm just going to...
That's why you went.
Dude, I'm going to show them what's up.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to be like, scoot over, let me show you.
Yeah.
Padawan. So, no... So I didn't see that at all.
Okay.
I wanted to bring back a picture of, they used to have character signs all over that said, don't potty in the bushes or whatever. I wanted pictures of that. You know,
they're removed.
All gone.
Okay.
Now, Discovery, the challenge course, there's an area where you go into the caves. There were a few mystery puddles in there, and I'm pretty sure those are pee puddles.
Okay.
Pretty sure. But I've only seen that happen once.
Okay.
And it was in Beijing. It was at the Forbidden City on the palace. What you'd think would be sacred, a worker peed on the side of the palace, and I was like, really? So, but no, not anywhere at Shanghai. Okay. Again, maybe different when there's a million people there.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that once.
Okay, well, let's end on a brighter note.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, pick anything. What was your favorite? Was Pirates.
Favorite was Pirates.
You enjoyed the fireworks.
The fireworks and Castle Show were nice. If there was a parade, I missed it. Somebody said, did you see the parade? I don't know that the parade was running when I went.
Possibly not.
I might have missed it,
You were stuck in Adventure Isle.
I was in Adventure Isle and yeah. But no, I would say that it'll be interesting to see 10 years from now what Shanghai looks like. I don't know that I'll ever go back myself.
Have they announced a second park? I can't remember.
I don't know.
They have the land.
They've announced a bunch of expansion stuff, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But they certainly have room for it. But and then up and beyond that, I've been told there's a lot more land than you even would know.
Don't even know about.
So
Cool.
So it's going to be interesting to watch this park grow, and I feel very satisfied and very grateful that I had the opportunity to go see this. And now I'm curious to see other Disney parks around the world.
Tokyo.
So
cool. Well, Rick West, thank you so much for coming on the show
Thank you so
telling
much
us
for
about
having
your Shanghai Disneyland adventure. Before we go, why don't you plug anything you want to plug?
Midsummer Scream's coming.
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah,
we
July
got some
28th.
announcements coming out
soon. Yes, July 28th and 29th, Long Beach Convention Center. Get your tickets now because they're selling like hotcakes.
And I'm going to be there both days.
Jeff is going to be in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to have you there. It's going to be great. We have some major announcements that we're rolling out pretty soon on that. It's funny because we're kind of late and we haven't announced like anything yet.
Yeah.
And ticket sales are through the roof.
Good.
People just love the show, and I promise you, it's going to be amazing.
They're discounted right now, so get your tickets now because the price will be rising.
We don't know when we're going to pull the plug on that.
I know that recently.
As of the recording right now, they're at 40%.
Okay.
We're at 40% discount right now. Don't know when we're going to pull the plug on that. Could be now. Could be right now. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So don't delay. We do have a gold bat pass, which is the all weekend pass. It's like the VIP pass. That's not discounted, but it's still a hell of a deal. It's less than $100.
Okay.
And it gets you front of line and priority access, and and you get a cool a golden bat pin.
Nice.
Which is, people love that. So it's fun. It's great stuff. It'll work on most of the things in Hall of Shadows.
Oh, cool.
We're gonna have lots of haunts in Hall of Shadows. That's huge. That's its own hall.
Midsummer Scream is bigger than ever.
It's expandified. We embiggened it.
It's Shanghai size.
That is Shanghai. We Shanghaied it. We Shanghaied Midsummer Scream. So midsummerscream.org, Midsummer Scream on all the social platforms. I'm Theme Park Adventure, themeparkadventure.com, TPA Magazine on Periscope and the old Twitter. And again, if you want to see this ongoing series of all of my Shanghai pictures that I'm putting up, I'm putting them up on our Instagram. Make sure you're liking and following us there. And that's Theme Park Adventure, one word spelled out on Instagram.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you.
And before we get going, I want to remind all of you that right now is your last chance to get your Disney Coast to Coast Newsies caps over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Make sure you do that soon before the chance is gone. And of course, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on iTunes to help other folks find Disney Coast to Coast more easily. Other than that, have a magical day. Bye.
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePaoli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.